everyone. Today's meeting is a special one. Can anyone tell me why?
Karan's favorite.
So, one of our best speakers in Adobe Toastmasters Club from years that have gone by is attending the last Toastmasters meeting as an employee of Adobe. I understand that a lot of you do not know him well. There are guests in the meeting. And for your benefit, I want to definitely introduce him as a person who sets a new standard every time he does anything. He has been a constant motivation for this club, and actually he has been instrumental in putting our level of speeches up to a level of district championship. Because for us, his speech is a benchmark, and our benchmarks are way high. Our benchmarks are at the level of world championship. And this is how I see Karan Bajaj. Karan Bajaj is not just a great speaker within Toastmasters. What I like the most about him is his humility. He's one person I've seen who always seeks feedback. He's never happy with the output of his work, no matter what. He can spend hours and hours and hours and years on solving one 5-minute speech. Year after year, and I'm a witness. Same speech, changed over and over. Maybe he has taken feedback from hundreds of people on the same piece because he's striving for a masterpiece. And that persistence, I have not seen in anybody of his age group. I have never seen. You're just one person I know in the world of your age group who has so much of persistence, dedication, always with a notepad in his hand, taking notes no matter what. And I always wonder, what do you write, Karan? I can't even scribble the way he does. Professionally, he has been in the Acrobat team here. He was part of the core engineering team. And I've met his manager, a great person, great personality. He knows a lot of people in Adobe. And today, and you can see some words right here which I could pick up to describe him. He's a Toastmaster. He plays flute. He's there where the dancing is happening, a flash mob. He's seen in the gym. He's seen in the Zumba class. I can also say that he's seen at his desk working. He's a scientist now. And one message that I would play from a dear friend of ours who is an ex-Toastmaster right now. And his message was Machao. So, a message for all of us.
Can somebody share the screen, please, so that we? No, screen is not shared. We can't see anything. We can just see you smiling.
Thanks to Blue Jeans.
Oops. Can we share it, please? Maybe we can replay it.
Can we reconnect on your bridge?
You're already connected, right?
They're all in the
On Blue Jeans.
This is Blue Jeans?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You found a bug with blue jeans?
Yeah.
Did you see the presentation or not?
So,
Presentation also.
Oh.
just come off and here, just take it.
There was something on the screen as well. With the audio. Okay. Don't worry, we will share it on the group.
But
Okay, so we'll share this video over on the group, WhatsApp group there.
Okay.
It's already done. Okay, no worries, we'll share it over the group. Anyways, so let's welcome Karan for his speech. And yes, I am introducing you, Karan.
Thank you.
And he knows why I said that.
My topic is don't put all your eggs in one basket. And this is how my journey began in Toastmasters way back in 2014. I was one very common everyday person sitting on the other side of the stage, one amongst the audience, just trying to imagine what is this Toastmaster concept all about. I had attended a couple of meetings as a guest in Pune, and the company from where I was transitioning into Adobe, Morgan Stanley, there I got a small glimpse of Toastmasters Club, but the setup was totally different. There in the company ED used to be the Toastmasters president, and there used to be a formal interview process to make any person in the company be a part of the group. And that interview process was no less than roadies. Coming from there to a club which seemed much more free, much more natural, much more friendly, was a totally unconnected sort of experience. And it started the day I came onto the stage and delivered my first table topic. The organizer in that particular event was Arvind Kumar Giri, and there were few faces back then, one of whom is Sharad. Sharad was one of the folks who evaluated my first speeches, and back then I had a mohawk hairstyle. I was just almost right out of college and totally up for all these new experiences. But little did I know what these 4 years in Toastmasters are going to look like for me. I started the journey, just by trying everything around me. So I wanted to take up all of the available roles in the meeting. I wanted to take up the first possible officer opportunity that came along my side, which was the VP PR. And back then, PR was not very complicated because as a club, we were a handful of 4 to 5 men. And as men, we did not have very high demands. We were fine with our PR being restricted to our Chai Sutta group, and that's how our club kept on progressing. Till I got the next possible opportunity of participating in a contest. Now, contest was again something new, so I was all charged up, pretty excited to experience something beyond the club. And this is where for the first time I prepared myself for the speech evaluation contest. So the speech evaluation contest is where a test speaker speaks and then you give evaluation and you are evaluated for the evaluation. And again, this was my first shot, so I had nothing to lose. I went forward and I compared the speaker with a Spartan. Now this speaker was not more than 40 kgs in weight. He was a feeble guy. But the moment I gave my evaluation, I saw him sitting on the seat like this. After the event, he met me in person and he told me that you have given me the best evaluation of my life. And that day I realized from his face the real power of words. I mean, words do create difference in someone's life when it is conveyed in the correct fashion. And that event was not just my first competition victory for me, but a first glimpse into what Toastmasters as a concept empowers you to do. And so the next immediate thing that I wanted to do and I was craving for is to try this at office. In the next available opportunity, so we have in Acrobat, we have sprint demos. We discuss our ideas, we discuss our prototypes or the actual core work that we have done as a part of our engineering job. And mostly how these demos look like is, hi, my name is Karan. I worked on tag manipulation, and my team worked on increasing accuracy figures. We are now 90% accurate, and we also read through a couple of research papers, and we have successfully completed so and so story. These are how our sprint demos used to look like. The first thing I experimented in my sprint demo was comedy. I introduced humor, and suddenly I saw all the faces bright up in the room. And it started from that sprint demo meeting, that everybody in the demo meeting used to wait for Karan's presentation, or Augustus, my team, presentation of Augustus. Because they knew that Karan would be bringing something special on the plate. It could be maybe a meme cartoon as a part of his presentation. It could be one joke to begin with. It could be an interesting way to present accuracy figures, and so on. And I realized that work doesn't need to be boring. Again, if you present it the right way. And this is what Toastmasters taught me. Next, something new to try is when I formally became the president of the club for the first time. And thank you, Arvind, for giving me that opportunity again. Now, as the president, came a new set of challenges. First being the team and how to keep everybody happy. Now, trust me, there is one task to kind of note down that this person should do A, this person should do B, and the other should do C, D, E. But when they do everything together, that is where the real magic lies of working with people. This was my first experience, and I still remember messaging and calling up Arvind, asking him for a high priority meeting because there were certain clashes, some people were unhappy, some people did not want to continue with the club, and I was all confused about how to move forward. And at that point of time, Arvind gave me few life lessons, which I believe was another aspect of Toastmasters. Toastmasters was not just about speaking or creating difference by speaking. It was leading at the same time. And again, leadership itself is a tricky word. Some people think that leadership is about one person who becomes a leader, but no, it's about everybody else. The leader, in fact, propels everybody in the forward direction and then moves behind them. I learned this through Toastmasters and by simple ways of organizing meetings, organizing special events. And here I should mention one individual who showed us that nothing is impossible. This lady in this room right now joined our club as a normal member on the other side of the stage. But the moment she came on this side of the stage and started speaking Toastmaster, and especially Adobe Toastmasters Club has never been the same before. Milestone after milestone, from meetings inter-office to arranging funds, having a new model of organizing meetings to save time, to being the face of Toastmasters, not just inside Adobe, but at a district level. Khushbu here has transformed the way Adobe Toastmasters was. As I told you, a small group of gentlemen, to now a group that spans across offices and even beyond the boundaries of Adobe. Now, whenever Adobe Toastmasters is mentioned as a club, people know Adobe Toastmasters as a landmark club. And I believe each and every leader present in this room, and even if not present in this room, has had a big role to play in creating this brand value or image of Toastmasters. So yeah, I definitely learned these small tiny ways, this small tiny consistency, that when it is all put together, it becomes a powerful force. And I saw the power of that force come in action through simple things that Khushbu and other leaders, Mayank was also there, Shivam was also one of the leaders during that point of time, made possible for all of us. So all of this was going fine and everything was almost towards perfection when I faced a big tragedy in my personal life. And at that point of time, I realized that howsoever successful you might be professionally, or even if you know a lot of people, there are certain cases in your life, certain incidents that might totally break you, they might crush you, and you start to question the real foundations about why you are alive. What are you here to do? And it was this moment where I believe there were certain Toastmasters in this room and again beyond this room who got out of the member zone and became friends, brothers, and more. It was evident that they could, when they would come and share stories or excerpts from their own life, they would want to help in whatsoever way possible. That this is not a normal member, this is not an employee. And it is because of this family of Toastmasters that I was really fortunate to have these members, these friends, as lifelong friends, I'm sure. Yeah, cool. Life became serious, but yes, things had to continue. And so there were certain instances like organizing the club officers training program or the contests in this office, or even we organized one of the talks by Ankur Variku. And again, these were milestones after milestones. When we realized that definitely corporate life becomes really serious. And it is very easy to be bored, be a part of that monotonous ecosystem where you come, you work, you give sprint demos, you talk about accuracy figures, and then you go home, you sleep. Then you again wake up, you come to your office, you do your coding, then you give accuracy figures, and you sleep. But I would like to point out that in this corporate jungle, I learned from Toastmasters that you can be fellow monkeys. You can jump from tree to tree, explore the entire forest, and the forest is never enough. And Toastmaster provides you those branches to jump from one tree to another, higher and higher and higher. And why I take the monkeys analogy, I'm sure some of us know in this room that some of the members in this room have fascination with monkey smileys also. But yeah, that's a great sort of way to put it, I believe, and one of the most crucial learnings that I have. And from like taking the same concept forward, I might be jumping out of this forest, but I'm sure that I'll forever be one of the Adobe Toastmasters monkeys. And I'm really, really proud and thankful to each and everybody here in this room for being not just fellow members, mentors, mentees, ex-presidents, ex-VPEs, ex-VPPRs, or role holders, but being my monkey family. Thank you so much.